That's occasionally the result when trillions of you guys decide to drop off in inconvenient locations, but before that they manage to drop you off in the nearby river. You don't look like much for a fly, because you're not, really. You're just a mayfly nymph, one of over 1,000 per square foot of riverbed. Your presence indicates clean water, because if it wasn't, you'd all be dead, with your extremely low tolerance for pollution. Your primary goal as a nymph is to bulk up on as much energy as you can before the most important day of your life. That, and to avoid being eaten by your plethora of predators. Using your 2 antennae, you sniff out some algae and start performing your primary function, till, in the corner of your 5 eyes, you notice an incoming river monster. You quickly burrow underground to get away from the threat, but this creates a new problem. You still need to eat. Don't worry, you can just order in. Like most mayfly species, you have around 7 pairs of gills that run down the sides of your body. You can usually absorb enough oxygen through your exoskeleton, so you don't always need to use your gills for half their purpose, but you do need a continuous flow of water bringing the oxygen, which you achieve by vibrating your gills relentlessly to create a current. The added benefit of this is that the current brings along some tasty food particles which you catch in your hairy forelegs, meaning you can just bed away in the burrow and not have to worry about some of life's bigger problems. You really are living in the future, as you have been for the last 400 million years. Oh, looks like you've bulked up enough for your first molt. Depending on your species and environment, you'll go through 10 to 50 of these during your nymph lifetime, growing larger each time till you reach the size of half a fingernail. Being a universal food source leads to a slower growth rate, as you have to hide a lot. Although you're getting food delivered, it's only in small quantities, so after a few months you could do with a bit of a boost to get through these molts before the big day ahead. Everything looks safe at the moment. You swim up towards some algae on the rock side and earn your next molt. But, as with most things in life, something eventually comes to eat you. Time to go underground, which you also now can't do. Great. The only way is up, towards the floating bit of wood that some of your siblings appear to already call home. It's now been a year and a half of excitement, avoiding fish and eating algae. Depending on species, mayflies will stay as nymphs for several months to a couple of years, and your time has now come to venture into the great beyond. Again, depending on species, there's like over 3,000 of them, so there are many slight differences. You either transform underwater, swim up to the surface, catch a bubble to the surface, or become the bubble. Once you're floating on the surface, you and all the other surviving nymphs begin your final molts into the next form. You are now nearly an adult mayfly, or subimago. Before you can be an adult, you have to go through this pre-adult stage, where you're duller in colour and have shorter legs. Still got the eyes though. We're not sure why you can't just skip this step. It's possibly a leftover ancestral trait, or you might just not have it in you to become an adult in one go. This is a fantastic time where you're not able to serve your only purpose as an adult, and you're the most vulnerable you've ever been. Luckily, you can fly now, even if it's not that well. A synchronized hatch of hundreds of millions of easy targets attracts a bit of attention, including fly fishermen who model their bait off your appearance. At least synchronizing ensures most of you will make it. You made it to land and now, depending on your species, wait 5 minutes to a day to complete your final molt. You are now an adult mayfly, or imago, slightly bigger than a fingernail. You finally made it, the most important day of your life. Or, for some species, the most important 5 minutes of your life, but we'll give you a bit longer. You've gained a unique status as the only insect to molt again after developing functional wings, which are much stronger now and possess another ancestral trait of resting in the sticky up position. You've got one goal in mind and a full energy bar, but no way to replenish it. Your mouth parts are like OG Deadpool and your digestive system has been replaced with air. This is so females have as much room as possible for as many eggs as they can fit in, sometimes even using their head for extra storage. With your new ability of flight, you may think you finally get a day off to live in peace. You don't, and you don't have time to hide now. You're a favourite of bats and birds, and in some cultures, humans who will bake you into a cake as you're estimated to contain the most raw protein by weight of any edible insect. As a male, everything starts off great. You fly up to join the swarm of other males and all perform the ceremonial courtship dance, flying up and down. The females line up to offer themselves, and all you have to do is wait till one's close enough to grasp with your extra long forelegs before you mate mid-air. Those bulges on top of your head are yet another pair of eyes, but actually detect UV light to help spot any females above you. A few seconds later, once the deed is done, she flies off and you make your way to a cozy spot of land. Then die, donating your body to the ecosystem. This is critically important to the nutrient recycling of the habitat, and maybe why you haven't evolved a longer life. Very noble. As a female, there's a bit more to do. You leave the party stuffed full of fertilised eggs and take one of three options, of course, species dependent. You drop off your 400 to 3,000 eggs, possibly more, as you hover above the river, periodically dip your body in, releasing a small batch each time, or stand by the side of the river and dump them all in one go. The eggs sink to the bottom of the river and find their way to crevices, rotting vegetation, or anything else they can cling to. Incubation time is variable, partially depending on temperature, and ranges from a few days to nearly a year if they require a dormant phase to wait for more ideal conditions. Then you die.